So growing up in Canada as an immigrant child, you're always a foreigner. You're a foreigner at home and you're a foreigner at school. I could be like brown on the outside, but everything that I was learning about the world around me was not. So my grandparents are originally from Goa. It's a coastal city near the Arabian Sea in India. But my parents were born in Nairobi in Kenya. So they bring with them a mesh of Indo-Portuguese culture. So I am a cultural mishmash, so to speak. My parents moved from Kenya to Canada in 1972 because of the political climate. My sister and my brother were both born in Nairobi. I was the only one born here. My dad referred to me as his aggressive Canadian. Most of my childhood was spent in Unionville. It's largely a white community. Why I say I'm a foreigner at home is because you spend your day trying to fit into, one set of norms and come home to another. And my dad would often remind me, when you come through that front door, remember where you are, you're in Nairobi now. So that switching from one culture to another, you never quite fit anywhere. So one of my first memories of going to school and playing with my friends was when another little girl turned to me and said, "You can't play, you're black." And I remember thinking, well, I'm not really black. And then I'm thinking like, well, what really am I? And that's a hard conversation to have as an 8-year-old. I wasn't sure what my culture was because my parents had been raised very British. So I didn't own a sari, but when you go to school, that's what people would assume. My mom would say things like, "Get out of the sun, you don't want to be dark." So these are all things that I feel like I was socialized to feel like I had to hide who I was, right? Like even my name, for example, right? So it's Allison. It's a very British name, but my middle name was Lourdes. So I had a Portuguese middle name, but like a coconut, we keep that in the middle, right? I don't feel like in school I ever had the chance to celebrate really who I was. Let me just think about how I say this. Maybe I'm ashamed to say it, that I feel like I almost hid my parents from my school life and my social life. And I shouldn't. There's amazing things that I found out about my parents. My mom was on the Kenyan national field hockey team. I don't know what age I was when my mom showed me a picture of Indira Gandhi standing behind her in a picture. There is so much about their lives that we tucked under for the sake of fitting in. And that was a detriment to me because I was insecure about who I was for so long. People often start a conversation with me with, "What are you?" And the answer is quite complicated. Because of not being comfortable in my skin as an 8-year-old, I want my students, I want my parents, I want my teachers to feel comfortable with the skin that they're in. As a leader, I need people to know my purpose. And in doing so, our conversations and the struggles that we face become so much easier to navigate because whether it be students or parents or fellow colleagues, they understand where you're coming from. And the things that you're advocating for and not complaining about are things that serve a wider community. I think educators need to know that students struggle with finding their own identity and celebrating it. And a lot of our parents sometimes too won't share that there's this other rich language and beautiful things happening at home that really would help their learning. I think what's most exciting about the position that I've been given and the positions that I have been given by DDSB has been the ability that I have, or the opportunities that I have to make school a different experience for students like me. And I see students taking pride in the things that they're doing and wanting to share it with me. And it must be so empowering for especially little girls, you know, that don't have the role models or don't see themselves in the books and in the TV and the media growing up. Like as a child myself, I think the first brown face that I saw was Abu from The Simpsons, right? So being able to be in a position where I encourage educators to think about what they're putting on their shelves and what they're sharing with their students and what they're inviting their students to talk about is so powerful. My name is Allison Lourdes Kerr. I'm a vice principal at Bayview Heights Public School, and this is my story.